Alrighty.
Right. Go live has been hit.
Has been hit. Stuart, I was on a plane yesterday.
I know you're also soaking wet. I see that Nick made you wet.
Well, Nick's weather made me wet.
Scotland made you wet. You're turned on by the Scotland.
Well, no,
I get it.
I was turned into a car, as in turned to rush into a car. Yes, I was in another country, although obviously you could argue not another country, but it is another country, so...
No, it's not, though. It is.
Yes, so I was, I'm very, you showed it because I happened to, I was sitting in the waiting area, which I just happened to sit down, and I, running out of mobile data, but I was like, Stuart, Trekyards live. He's live. Okay, cool. I'll jump on and say hey. And he happened to mention me that something else, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Nice that he's thinking about me in the abstract. And then I happened to send you, oh, it's in a screenshot folder, and I happened to send you, and this I knew would just blow your mind in like a give you a little chills sort of way. So I sent you a picture of me, a nice little selfie, classic, because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you, thinking of me, and you had no idea that I was watching, so you just thought, oh, how random. And I was like, he's gonna show that on the live stream, isn't he? I have to get on the show somehow. And here I am in the airport on my phone watching my friend live, and suddenly my face appears on the internet. Live. Within 30 seconds it showed that not only was I watching, that you were watching, and that you paid so much attention to my Facebook that within 30 seconds of live, including the delay, that I pop up on the live stream and you say, oh,
Hold on 1 second. You talk to the people. I just gotta hold.
Yeah. So that was a great moment in of itself, and here's now his liveception, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he doesn't even know I'm live. Oh, this is great, and bing, oh, he messaged me again, and you broke down.
It was Inception, because it's like me holding the iPad, holding the.
Because you had no idea. And I caught that for like the second. You weren't up there long. I caught that just the right second. It was in focus, it was in frame. And I did it once more as well for the lols, but I was running out of data. So that was my giggling to my... If you haven't been in Edinburgh Airport watching a man in a mask with a Trekyards shirt, why was he giggling? That's why! That's my story to start the show.
It's a good story. It's
yeah,
good.
I was happy with that.
Wow. Welcome back, guys. That's a long intro, but that's okay. We haven't talked to each other in a while, so and we haven't seen you guys in a while. I mean, you've seen me,
and I've seen you see me see you.
Right? That's some weird shit going on. But anyway, welcome back, guys. We got a top 10 today. Tomorrow is Lower Decks, so we're gonna have lots of new stuff to talk about. But today we thought we'd do a top 10. We're doing top 10 enterprise bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are like, how many are there? There's a lot. And lots of different variations as well. So yeah, I counted 16, 17 that we had.
Yes.
Easily.
And I was...
And that's not including the JJ one. It's not including the Apple Store.
Well, there's 3 anyway. Now, I was tempted... So I suggested this because I thought, this is such a one we can all get behind. You spend so much time on these bridges, and I've been on 2, you've been on the Connie more than me. We have a real connection to these. And I've done green screen as well, etc. But I was tempted to say, right, let's just do top 10 main bridges, ones that have more than one appearance, and then we do the sub bridges. And yes, there were 17 if you include JJ. I probably could have made around 20 as an A round, so it probably would have been enough. And we might still do that maybe later on, just like you can't include the main 3, and just like how do you do the alternates? But when they start having repeating shapes just with color changing paint, it's like, well, that's a bit of a weird one. So there's a lot of choice here. I'm interested to see where or not Stuart goes with this. I've tried to go a certain way with this as well, as whether it's the gut reaction, but also to take a deep look into my soul for this.
Me too. Like I told you, like I messaged you, this was a hard one. Because there's some subtle variations, and it's all in how it strikes you on screen, and just an overall impression that you get while you're watching the movie. And you gotta looking at the scientific whatever.
Astra Scientifica.
Astra Scientifica images are great, but you got to put yourself in the mind of seeing it on the screen and how, because a lot of times they look really great on the Astra Scientifica, but there's a lot of factors that come into play here, and I'm sure we'll discuss those as we go through our list.
Because we're not necessarily looking, and while this might be part of it, we're not just specifically saying, from a design point of view, what is our favourite. It's just, what is our favourite. And so, yeah, these views aren't necessarily going to be the view, the legendary moments or not moments are going to be important. But I do think, there's some pretty clear higher ups here, and a lot of these ones, just like with the Ferengi, we knew the top three. We knew the top three, but it's about everything in between. No, that doesn't make sense. Everything after 3, because there's nothing between 1, 2, and 3. Yes.
It's safe to say that none of the windows on my list, or none of the bridges on my list,
Freudian slip there, Stuart.
Windows. Yeah, have windows in them, because no. So, there you go. Spoilers.
And obviously, bridges are fun. It would definitely be. If this goes well, that's obviously totally up to you guys with views and super chats, etc. Then we'll see how more bridges we can do. Because I certainly would like to look, and even more sets would be fun. Top 10 engineering sets, etc. Oh, can't you mute yourself?
Top 10 sick bays. I don't know if we have 10 necessarily, but
when you include Cerritos, when you include Voyager being a redraft of the Enterprise, you could find 10. It just maybe not the 10 of highest quality. So I will start sharing while you pimp out our ride.
Right. All right, guys. As you can see, I got a little new camera angle. I put it up a bit, and I look a little bit better. And I got some really great content coming from me, scheduled for the next couple of weeks on Thursdays and Fridays. So check that stuff out. Some of them are sent for premieres, which will seem like alive, but they're not really alive. But just watch them anyway. That would be great. I will be in the chat when they're on, so that we can, I can answer your questions and stuff via real time while you're watching. So stay tuned for those. But yeah, we already got 3 super chats, which is great. If you can super chat, please do so. It's a great way to support the channel and show your love for us, because we love you guys and we love bringing you this content. So if you want to show that you appreciate what we do, super chats are a great way to do so. Also get your comment read, your question answered. We do read all the super chats, unlike a lot of other channels. I'm actually surprised by the number of channels I've watched recently that don't even acknowledge the super chats. What? Including, so ironically enough, PewDiePie, who's got I don't know how many million subscribers, but 13,000 people watching his one live stream. He got very few super chats and didn't read any of them. I'm like, that's just rude. So anyway, we're here to take care of that. You can also join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, Admiral, Fleet Admiral, or Federation President. That's a monthly way to support the channel and support us. You get some cool emojis and stuff for the lives, which are really fun. And it's just a monthly way. It's actually very cheap. If you click that join button down by the subscribe button, you'll see the different tiers you can get. So if you can, please do that. Or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards for another monthly way. There's also PayPal. You can the PayPal information is down in the description. It's just trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know you've sent to PayPal, though, so that we can actually read your comment or question via the email for that. Also, there's TeePublic Store, the Teespring Store. TeePublic Store, I think has things on sale right now for 35% off, which is a fantastic deal. And you guys have been doing great purchasing from TeePublic. We got more free swag as a result of that, because you guys have been doing such a good job ordering stuff from them, and we really appreciate that. It's really a fun thing to see. So yeah, check out TeePublic Store down below. There's also the Teespring Store, which they basically have the same stuff, but there's a few different variations and stuff on the Teespring stores. So if you can check those out, please do so. But lots of ways to support us, and just commenting, super chatting is a great way. Hitting that like button. We have 85 people here. We have 41 likes. I think we can do a lot better than that. I think we get 75 likes. So hit that like button if you haven't already. I would definitely love to see that jump up to 75 right now, which will be a second or two because of the delay. So hit that like button if you're just hearing this now, because delay. And look, Samuel's back.
Hello.
No delay there. All right. Let's read the super chats real quick.
Yes.
Not a banned account, but it's in $2. NC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D. Well, that's still a couple bridges. So just saying. It's quite a few bridges, actually. Damn. We didn't include. Hey, I just realized we didn't include the animated series bridge. Dang nabbit. Oh well. Moving on. Jordan Reed, 450 pounds. Thank you. NX01 for practicality. Discovery prize for aesthetics.
Wow.
Interesting. I have things to say about the Discovery Enterprise for aesthetics.
And Raj says, are we counting the Discovery bridges? Well, not the one for the USS Discovery, but the Enterprise. Sure, it's an Enterprise bridge.
Yeah, all the Enterprise bridges. So.
They made an Enterprise, so we can talk about it.
Exactly. Mark Lawrence, $5.
Mark!
Favorite window is the impromptu one made in the battle on the Enterprise E. Yeah, I mean, they're so not windows that even on the Enterprise E, when it's not a view screen, a holographic view screen, it's a goddamn wall.
Only that first time, though.
I know, but they would rather go with a wall than an actual window there. That says a lot about the use of windows on bridges, so
yeah,
just putting that out there.
Yeah, the newest tech of the Federation prefers wall technology.
I don't know why you would ever have the holographic view screen off on that bridge, because that wall is not, there's nothing on it. Have a picture hanging out it or something. I don't know. A screensaver going like fish or something.
It's Data's art wall. He paints what he do each week.
Little stick figures. Picard, me.
That was his experimental phase, yeah.
Don L. Jackson, $2. My favorite is Enterprise E. It looks so tactical. There's two versions of that too, though. BJ Turon, $5. Favorite Enterprise bridge for function and style is Star Trek V. Looks like a TNG era bridge for smaller and slightly older Starfleet Star Cruiser. Yeah.
What was the crossover period when they, could reference each other's aesthetics, etc.?
Yep. Carl Babbers.
Hi, Carl.
Kartsy. Sorry, I don't know if I said that right, and I
Thank
know
you.
I didn't. £5. My favorites are by far the Enterprise A, Star Trek
6.
That's 6. I hate Roman numerals.
Because there is no Enterprise in 7, so that's the only reason I worked that out, because there is no Enterprise in 7.
Well, that would have been 4, because it could be IV, which is...
Oh no, okay,
Yeah.
fine, I'm Googling it. Oh god.
Excelsior and Enterprise B... No, it's 6, because the 5 comes first, and you add the 1 to make 6. If it's IV...
Yes,
you
6.
And you take the 1 away from
Gut
the V,
reaction.
which is the 5.
Oh good.
Yes.
Thank you, my brain didn't...
There's rules for Roman numerals, and sometimes there's just 4 lines for 4, because looking up at a clock with the angle, it's sometimes the VI looks like a 3. People get confused. I don't understand why, but anyway, there are rules for Roman numerals. Moving on. Sorry. Excelsior, an Enterprise Brie design. Love the design of that whole era. Didn't see enough of it. Wholeheartedly agree.
And there is an Enterprise B bridge in the pipeline, as in, well, one of the many things I have to have built at some point. I'm quite excited to make that as a 3D set to actually do the texturing, because, Enterprise B is a nice looking bridge. I'll have to do the version without the red carpeting custom specific bit that's like only for this mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, we're not at 75 likes like I asked.
Stuart! Really?
I know.
We're both together and everyone's been, it's been a week. Goodness.
We're back.
Goodness.
Matthew DeFritas, $5.
Matthew, good to see you. Glad you can join him.
I was on the Connie Bridge with Captain Kirk a week ago.
Oh.
The chair and the bridge fits him like a glove. TOS Bridge is my favorite.
Ooh.
It's just beautiful.
You fancy man. The fact that you could say that and be completely serious. Mic drop.
Yep. Gary Davis Jr.,
Pictures from that? I
$5.
mean, did you get a picture with them? Did you go for that as well? 'Cause that's a pretty cool picture if you get it. Let us know.
Gary Davis Jr., $5. The Battle Bridge on the Enterprise D. We're just including main bridges.
And I would consider that a sub-distinction of Battle Bridge. I wouldn't call
We
that...
don't see very often. Like we'd have to add the auxiliary control room from the TOS Enterprise.
But then you could argue that doesn't have the word...
Makeshift bridge.
You could argue that doesn't have the word bridge in it, though.
True. There is a battle bridge or emergency bridge on the Franz Joseph blueprints. But...
I mean, arguably, even though it's called Battle Bridge, that is the bridge of the secondary hull.
Of the Enterprise.
Of the Enterprise. But it's also not a bridge. It's a battle bridge, it's a specific subset. It's tricky. But no, and let's be fair, it won't be on my list of top 10 anyway.
It might be on mine, though.
Well, it can't be, because we didn't have it as an option.
No, well, if it was an option, it might be.
Okay. I thought you might drop there as well. Well, it's on my list! I put it on the
We're
list.
fixing it, saying it wouldn't be on my list, so why include it? But it might be on my list. Area 51, $5. Art for the wall, view screen on Enterprise E, Targs playing poker. Perfect.
Get that as a commission. That'd be great.
That would be great.
That'd be great.
A Metallica fan, 1490 or 1442, has upgraded their membership to Captain from Commander. So, welcome, fellow Captain. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Those memberships mean a lot to the channel. So if you're able to click the join button, just check out the different tiers. That's like a monthly price, and it's not that expensive for some of them. So check them out.
So my years of service, and he outranks me with a couple of clicks. Good job. Your dedication to the role outbeats mine, apparently.
Yeah. And Matthew DeFrida says he did get a picture with him, but due to COVID concerns, he was at Uhura's station behind him. The picture is on my Facebook. I removed the transparent plastic shield in Photoshop, though.
As you should.
Cool.
After, yeah, nice.
Not a band account, $2, NCC 1701. The animated series bridge is the best. We didn't include it.
Ah. Boy, the internet, I found the picture already. It's a pretty good picture.
Nice.
I don't think Billshrin wearing a red shirt just makes his, he tends to get red flushed cheeks. So have a red shirt as well doesn't really help him, but...
I got a lot of issues with those Ticonderoga weekends with him, but whatever. Especially this last one. That being said, moving on. That's it for all the super chats as of now.
Go from there.
If you want to continue super chatting, please feel free. We really appreciate it. You've been fantastic today. It's good to be back. And like I said, 64 likes. We're not at 75 yet. We have 96 people here. So hit that like button, guys.
And as
ignore the dishwasher. It's almost done draining.
And as we did let you know, last month was our worst income month for 11 months. It was quite a hit. And this month, because I haven't been here, we've earned pretty much nothing the first half. So we're really hoping that Lower Decks boosts our income. We kind of expected a bargain basement, hard to pay rent month. And hopefully next month with Lower Decks full-time will be a kick. Kind of crossing our fingers there. So if you can help out today, that'd be great. Since this is going to be a fun one. So even like a $2 saying hi, what you think.
Yeah.
Etc. Who's go first, Stuart?
I'll go first.
Okay. Beautiful.
Starting out, my number 10 slot is the 2373 Enterprise E First Contact Bridge. I really like the color scheme on this one. The layout's cool. I'm not the hugest fan of the Enterprise E or the Sovereign class bridge design. It's got some funky, weird spaced layouts and operation stations. However, choosing between this one and the other Enterprise E, I like the color palette on this one a little bit better with the darker carpet. And I always love the MSD behind the captain. I think that's a really great look. So it's we didn't see a lot of it really, and it's a kind of a shame. I mean, we know there's a hatch in the floor, which is cool. You never get to see those, and they're always there for emergencies. They're even in blueprints. Yeah, that's my number 10. It's a great way to jump off. This was the Sovereign class, so there you go. I don't have much else to say, really.
Yeah, this one is certainly... so this was the First Contact version. Yeah, this one's certainly very... the darker is good and bad. It makes some things harder to light, but obviously that movie's meant to be moody. And certainly this one is one of the first ones where you think to yourself, well, that's a lot of empty space at the front.
Yeah.
By having the front two consoles just that bit closer, it's like, but why? It feels out of balance. If you had them more like the D, further forward and further apart, it would actually balance out a lot better, although then the cap would be further away. So by pulling it all the way back, it makes shots really cool, because the classics first shot in First Contact where they go in, the bridge is shown, they're all so compact, it looks incredible. And then you flip and it's like, well, that's quite boring and empty, kind of Discovery-esque, and it's like, well, it's just a lot of space. It doesn't quite feel as functional. I don't know why they made that choice.
And kudos to them for making more people stand. I was always the tactical guy. It was always Worf behind the arch. So
whenever asked, Worf said, "I recommend standing for 14 hours a day on every shift."
It's the way of the warrior, man.
And it's sad because obviously he got a chair for 45 minutes in Generations, and then that chair got destroyed, and they just couldn't find a replacement, so he had to stand again for the 3 movies.
Yeah. Metallica fan 1442 though throws in 10
Ah,
pounds. So thanks so much.
thank
I
you.
really like the Wrath of Khan Enterprise Bridge, and thanks for the shows.
Thank
You for
you.
watching the shows. And I agree with you about the Wrath of Khan Bridge. We'll have to see where it ranks for us.
Again, that one has a lot of personal. And also, I mean, arguably, is that the one you spend the most time of any movie on?
Yes,
Would have to be, yeah.
because it's essentially the motion picture bridge just recolored.
No, but I mean, in the movie, like in any movie, you spend the most time
Yes,
on it.
yeah, because it's also in Star Trek 3 as well. So
Well, yes, because TMP spend a lot of time on the bridge, but there's a lot of time off the bridge. Although there's a lot of sitting and watching the screen, but two has a lot of action on the bridge. Okay, if anybody knows out of the top of their head what has more screen time, TMP or Wrath of Khan on physically on the bridge, I'd love to know.
probably a motion picture, honestly. Lots of reaction shots. Anyway, Rex Trek puts in $5.
Thank
My
you.
favorite is Intrepid. It's not an Enterprise bridge, though. That's what we're talking about today. Voyager's bridge. I picked that for all my Federation ships on STO. Been playing since Beta Science Admiral 65, Edgecliff at Rex Trek. Yeah, it doesn't apply today, my friend. We will probably be doing other bridges as a top 10 thing, but unfortunately, it won't be today.
And certainly Intrepid is I think a neater bridge than the E. I like the overall like bang for the buck feel of the E. Like this is a big, powerful, lot of people to run its ship. But the Voyager feels far more efficient. You know, but yes, it's a much smaller ship. I think it's actually shorter than like might even be just the size of the nacelles in terms of length. So it's it's a obviously. And do you want to read Matthew's follow-up comment?
The Star Trek tour itself is incredible. The Shatner weekend is basically a large con for one person in a town, and what wasn't built to hold an event with that many people, though, at one time. It's rough. Yeah, it's rough for not being... Anyway, yeah, there's a lot that I have to say about that, but we're not going to get into it. So,
I bet you all stayed at the same hotel that we've all stayed at.
I was very disappointed seeing the pictures of it, the lineups with no masks anywhere to be seen, and Shatner's 90. Like, come on, guys. That bugged me, but whatever.
I want Shatner to outlive all the originals, so he will.
Well,
as long as he's not,
he knows he'll never die as long as he's
riding horses.
Oh.
That's the key. He steals energy. Right, it's about stealing energy. I'm going to jump to my number 10, Stuart.
Yeah.
I went for the NX-01 Bridge vanilla version. And as with all these things, this is not a... It's I went from number 1 and then gut reaction down to 10. So if you'd asked me off the street, where was this rank on your list? I wouldn't necessarily say 10, but I've actually made the list. I'm going to give it 10 because I like it fine. I like a lot of the ideas behind it. It obviously, as someone said in the chat previously, it has a real functional vibe, but it's not built with much science fiction artistry as I like, because everything needs to be very grounded, and so it has a very industrial feel. And I went for this version of the other version because I kind of like the industrial over the more garish. Like if they'd gone more advanced feeling with the season 4 version, great, but it's the same thing with different carpet, repaint a little bit. Yeah, so I'll stick with the vanilla version, but I like it in concept. I would change lots of little things on it, but I would keep the arrangement, but I would change things. But I like the banister consoles. I like the way captain is. I like the single helms. There's a lot of things I like on it, but it doesn't excite me in any way, and I never feel ooh when watching NX-01 episodes looking at the bridge. It's just they're on the bridge. You're not thinking they're on the bridge. Whereas every other show, even the Defiant, you're thinking yes, they're back on the bridge. None of that vibe is here for this ship. All the other bridges, the D, the Connie, the Voyager, and the Defiant, even the DS9 to some extent, but that's not really. But it's not meant for that really. But this one, it just doesn't have that same coming home feel. So there you go. But I still like it. Just 10th on my list.
Yeah, this one has the most modern military kind of battleship. Aircraft carrier kind of vibe. You got the situation room at the back. You got that very. It ties in with real life and how the progression would be, and I think that's great. The colors are kind of bland. I do like for the last episode where they bumped up the colors on the monitors at least to BTOS. I wish that would have been the start because I didn't really like the more muted color palette we saw original, like for the most of the show. But other than that, it's a fine bridge. I love that the helmsman's chair moves back and forth or side to side. That's kind of a neat feature.
And you barely notice it as well. It's so basic, but it's like, oh, when you realize.
Yeah. And those stations like Malcolm Station that are on the railing, I think that's a nice touch. And they kind of incorporate that in other bridges like the E and stuff. So one thing you get from this that you never really see in the show is those exits and stairs down on each side of the view screen, which is also a nice little touch. So it's a fine bridge and a good start. I mean, I think for the era, I think it's perfect. Maybe a few more monitors, but other than that, it's pretty good. All right. I guess we're getting to my number 9 now. Hold on. Oh, I gotta do this. And my number 9 is that's not my number 9. 2371 Enterprise D Generations Bridge. I love the bridge from Generations. I love the addition of the extra consoles on the side. I wish they had been there the whole goddamn time because it makes the bridge feel so much better. I love the... That's it. I'm just going to stop talking now. I think it's great. I love the steps up to the captain's chair. They're not as exaggerated as they were in yesterday's Enterprise. There was 4 steps for yesterday's Enterprise. Here there's only 2, but I love that it's raised a little bit more. I think that's a beautiful touch. And I just love those stations on the side. They're so appealing. Plus the graphics they have on them, the schematics of the ship and stuff is something I love looking at all the time. And I wish they were there more often. We got those back in the little engineering nook corner at the back there for the whole show, but it didn't really work for me. I love seeing schematics of the ships as displays. I think it's really cool. And that's why I picked this one. I think that the addition of the like getting rid of the ramp kind of style on the side and having that like ledge with the seats on it, and again, those consoles is great. So that's why it's my number 9.
I'm blown away. Remembering our many years together, I was like, this is going to be on number 2 or 1. I'm really surprised.
You might be surprised by my entire list, actually, because, like I said, this was difficult, and I was tired, and so I don't know. I might not agree with this.
Because you've always been like, this one, man. Oh.
It turns me.
Google on the inside. Yeah, so this one... it may be on my list. I don't quite remember if or where it placed. I kind of forgot about my. I remember the next one, but I don't remember I remember my top 3. I think it's on my list, but I think I will say of this picture. This picture makes it look better than I think the lighting does in the movie. I know why they did the lighting, but I wish we'd seen it with the more traditional lighting and appreciate it fully rather than the very stylized lighting, because it hides a lot of stuff. And it makes it too dark and too moody, and it's just like, give it one outing how it sort of should look rather than how they want it to look, Kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. And whereas this it looks, it feels bigger, it feels more engaging like this.
Well, that being said, I kind of like the lighting that they chose in conditions, so, but that's me. I just like dark.
But this looks clean, doesn't it? By being brighter.
It does, absolutely. I would like to see it lit. I would like to see this one lit and filmed in the TNG style.
I'm sorry, they tore it down 20 years ago.
I know that. I know.
James Corley, after you finish building the classic one, build this next door. Build it a second time with extra consoles. Dear me.
And Eric Martin is here. Good to see you, Eric.
Eric!
It's in $20 Canadian, so thank you so much.
Amazing.
And I vote for the Star Trek 5 and 6 bridges. Stay tuned to the list for those.
Well, they're very different. They're very different. But yes. Yeah. Eric ever noticed the ones on the sides? Yes! See, they're not the most blatant, but yes, that's the big difference.
Also, we have 89 likes with 134 people here. I'm going to aim for 120 likes, guys.
Yes.
Hit that button, please. BJ Turon, $5.
Thank you.
Like Enterprise X Bridge for being grounded. We didn't include that one either.
Well, it's basically this.
I know.
Yeah.
Like the Expanse, Love Generations D Bridge with extra stations. New York State ended mask mandate in July. Yeah, and you got a bunch of outbreaks. Anyway, moving on. Gary Davis Jr. has upgraded his membership to captain as well.
Oh my goodness.
Another commander to captain jump. There's a lot of
I
promotions going on today. So welcome, Captain Gary.
It's because they see me and they say I can be
better than him.
Yep, I was gonna say it.
Aspire to be like me. Thank you, my friends.
No, thank you. As we said, very, very helpful. Very helpful.
And not very much a month. It's actually quite.
Yeah.
It's quite a pittance.
And you are about to jump into Lower Decks month, start of that, where you're likely to see one show a day for 10 weeks. So we're going to earn it, guys. So if you want to support that, we'll probably do it either way. But with the confidence of the guaranteed income, we know we can do that full thing. And only if like 5,000 people watch a review of a new phaser, we won't do it. We know you in the chat want to see it. So these little bits make us like, yeah, worth it. Which it is for us and for guys like you.
Before we get to your number 9, Samuel, though, we got Kyle Wong, who just threw in 5 pounds. Thank you so much.
Cool new picture as well. Changing up.
Yeah, that's from Big Trouble in Little China. That's the guy. I can't remember his name. Anyway, if the captain didn't like the color scheme of his ships, does he or she have the power to paint? In the Federation, negative. In the Klingon Empire, absolutely. You can customize your bridges in the Klingon Empire. Not so much in the Federation, though. So.
See, I feel like he might have actually. I feel like he might actually be able to say, "Yes, I want different carpet."
Just maybe the accent colors carpet. But would you then match your Elcars?
No, that's
the Elcars color kind of matches the carpet color in TNG. So.
Also, BJ Turing actually meant the NX bridge was the Enterprise X. Enterprise X as in Galaxy X, so we guessed what you meant.
Yes.
It meant NX01. But yes, it is grounded, just too grounded.
Gotcha. I just saw X and thought the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, as you should, Stuart, and on the Enterprise D Classic, or Generations. But my number 9, Stuart, is, let's see what I put. This bridge!
Same bridge?
Yes!
What? Awesome.
And I was waiting for you to be like, I guess that it might be on my list. Look, number 2, guys. But I'm surprised. But no, it's for me. And I'm probably for you as well. It's the lesser of the 2 Enterprise D bridges. But while I don't like the step, I actually don't like the wharf seat, which are 2 of the 3 things they change. I do like the consoles in concept, although I find the execution wobbly. Because it's just a safety hazard. There's an incline that you can fall off, and it's actually reasonably high.
Yeah. And
it's just an awkward way of doing it. And they've got these little stools. They should have just, as they've done so many times, just take the chairs from the Enterprise, Star Trek 5, 6, Excelsior, Enterprise B bridge, just put them there like they have on many other bridges, Enterprise C bridge as well, because they've actually got backs to them. So I don't get why. I mean, yes, it's got an incremental step towards the Enterprise Z bridge with that side console, which I like. And I would have been fine with just that, if it had just been that singular bonus console looking forward, and a chair. But I just find it clumsy, literally and figuratively, because it wasn't designed that way, and it's very tacked on. Even though it might have looked really cool with extra consoles, I don't find this a very efficient way of doing it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder though how long this upgrade was there. Did they have it for a week, and the ship gets destroyed? I'd be like so mad. Oh.
The engineers just leave the shuttle bay as they go to Amagosa. Yes. Same week. It's like, God, Jerry, we finished with flagship. We did. That was a really good assignment. Yeah, that's good. That ship could be flying for decades to come, and our work, our brand new bridge, that's great. And literally, in the warp journey home, they drop out of warp Earth and bleep, shuttle 14. Just so you know, guys. Yes, the Enterprise D crashed with all hands. What? But we just
It's like everybody that worked so hard and long on the Titanic on its maiden voyage, all this beautiful woodwork and everything, and nope, doesn't even make it for one voyage. Not a band account though throws in $2 and says how much to fund an episode about a Trek topic.
Email trekyards@hotmail.com. Depending on the topic, different amounts, but very affordable.
Or if you join the channel at the rank of Federation President, you get to choose one topic a month.
That's true.
For a live. But Jonathan Davies upgraded their membership from commander to captain as well. So we got 3 new captains today.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Captain Davies.
Damn. Amazing.
And Eric Martin throws in another $5. Thank you, Eric. Did anyone else find the pulsating columns on the Columbia Bridge really cheesy? Yes. Yes. And unfortunately, that was kind of carried over. Well, similarly carried over to the Discovery, the Disco Prize, with the flashing lights like right at eye level for some reason. And we're talking about the blinkies. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about bright strobe lights at eye level. Anyway, whatever.
And yes, they did carry over to the NX-01, maybe refit in the season finale holodeck episode. Yes, they're a dumb way of doing it. I mean, they give you a sense of power, but it's dumb. I don't think they intended to ever use that on the NX-01 again, but it's just a silly idea. Deary me. But yeah, you guys are doing great already. We're already about halfway through our super chat goal, so that is really good. And yes, email trekyards@hotmail.com if anyone wants to sponsor an episode of Trekyards, either on a ship, a discussion, or a top 10. Any of those are available. We love doing them, and obviously, any support in that way of sponsoring an episode, it's like boom, now we're covered for that episode, etc. Thank you so much. So yeah.
Speaking of likes, though, we have 107. We have 150 people here. I'm going to aim for 130 now. Hit that like button, guys. That should be easily doable. I know I'm the captain. I'm kind of asking a lot of you guys, but you guys, fantastic crew. So
I think you're just asking enough, but then you'll increase it later, and that'll just be enough. Good. You're number 8 though, Stuart. I want to know because now I'm all confused about your list.
Good. I'm glad I.
TOS Connie Bridge. What? Gonna shatter the earth, Stuart.
I want you to, okay, tell me now, where do you think the TOS bridge is going to fall?
I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that. I want to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna write it down on my phone, so you don't know.
Okay.
And in fact, you can look away, and I can show the audience. And
Okay, I'm looking away.
Well, I haven't. Oh, hold on, give me. Okay. Okay. So, I have to flip it, but. There you go. So that's where I'm going to say. Okay, there you go. Right. That's where I officially guessed.
Okay. Before we announce number 8, though, we got 2 new super chats. I just want to get those out of the way first.
Excellent.
Not a bad account, $2. Suggestions for the ISS Captain Foley Bridge.
Ooh.
Hey, the Foley Bridge is coming along nicely, actually. We've done some changes to that, too. Ooh. So, and Erevic Sonder puts in $2. The battle bridge on the Enterprise D was dark but cool. And dark is cool when it comes to bridges, in my opinion.
I'd like to see a hero version of that actually developed with actual money rather than a redress of the existing set. Because conceptually it's got some cool bits, but conceptually it's just kit bash of other stuff. So,
all right.
Okay.
So we've got my number 8 is 2344, the Enterprise C Bridge.
Speaking of the battle bridge-ish.
Yes, exactly. I love this era. I love the motion picture graphics. I love the LCARs. I love the console looks. I just think it's fantastic. A little bit of tie-in with TNG with the helm consoles and the way they're lit at the front with the same kind of stand. And I don't know what that console at the front of the bridge is, but it's really cool also. This is just a bridge we didn't see enough of. And again, seeing the displays of the ship in the background is really cool. And it's something that I really enjoy personally. I'm just a geek that way. So this is one that really stands out to me. Again, didn't see enough of it, unfortunately. Maybe there will be a Lost Era show. I would love to see something like this done properly. That's the key there, done properly. Yeah, I really love the Enterprise C Bridge. And I think it should have got more love than it did. So there you go.
I mean, it got basically no love in the grand scheme. We didn't even ever see it, clean. It's kind of sad, remarkable. In fact, they didn't ever brought an ambassador back, ever. I don't know why they wouldn't, etc., etc. But no, this is a. I mean, they obviously had a bit more money in, especially since it's an entire bottle show as the SS Enterprise. So they put a certain money into the set stuff. So they clearly redresses more than the average one and put a bit more thought in, and it feels that way. Although, boy, is it small for a big ship. Considering how many stations the Six Bridge has, the Excelsior Bridge, and this is a much more internal volume, bigger ship, and yet it's far less functional.
It's also more advanced than the Enterprise A and the B. So automation shrinks stuff down into less consoles.
Yeah. And the Enterprise
So-
D has even less consoles. Well, more segmented to back, front, nothing in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you can tell this was kind of like a ship of the week bridge, though, because there's no detail at the front, really. It would have been cool to have a station on each side of the view screen. Would have been neat, but not really needed. And we don't never really see that view of the front of the bridge. So,
No.
But, yeah. So, yeah. Number 8. What's your number 8, my friend?
Let's find out together. My number 8 is this bridge as well.
You were cheating. You're looking over my shoulder.
How?
You sure you got the right folder?
I've got the right Foley. Yes. Well, yeah. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah. So yeah. This one for me again. It has a certain charm to it, for it's ostensibly a kit bash of other bridges. Although looking at this view, it's like, how is this the Enterprise A bridge redressed?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Huh. But obviously at this point they were kind of ripping stuff out more and more. I believe this is actually the Star Trek 5 bridge, and they built a new for 6. I think the 5 bridge, because remember this, the reason they stopped using the Constellation, etc., is because the bridge got trashed in the rain, I believe, or something similar. So that's why the 6 bridge is a whole new bridge. So I believe this is the 5. This is the 5 bridge redressed, which is all the other ones, and then that's why 6 and doesn't come back again. I believe. Because obviously then we get Last Use in Generations, then there aren't ever any shows anymore. So I believe that's why it's kind of whatever. I don't like the fact those steps at the back are so bloody harsh. This is the bloody future. Why are they so militaristically stabby? You know what I mean? There's no refinement there. But actually, I'm quite impressed looking at this properly. There's actually so much little tie-ins to Enterprise D, it's kind of insane. There is such a lineage here for what is a very simple kit bash, although they really could have done with a small console behind the captain, a tiny one on that railing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the railing is sort of redundant. Wait, how is it functional? You know, they could have done one console, even two really small ones. I think that would have made it pop more and give it that evolution feel.
I never considered that, but you're absolutely right. Something there would look great, actually, and be that visual tie-in with the Enterprise D.
Because if you had two small ones either side, which were like very small consoles, like a single pad, then it'd be like, okay, they've got a station here, but it's not really a full station. Then Worf gets the big wraparound. And I also quite like this bridge utilised, as did some other redresses, but it reutilised all of the season 1 and I believe 2 and maybe 3 helm, navigation and captain's chairs. So it was using the modern components, but the older versions, which meant it had that sort of the original high budget feel, but we've already moved past those, so the designs are a little bit antiquated. I mean, they were, so kind of let it feel linked in, and they didn't have those when they did that Constellation and stuff, so they was more kit bashy. But it's well, I don't know the point of having that front console, given the fact that it's going to obscure everyone's view. But then again, most times just at warp, you don't necessarily need to look forward. You can do scans at the front. I like it though.
Makes sense.
Wouldn't take much to improve it though. Just give a bit more, a little bit more. But it's actually smarter than you think.
I just wish we would have seen it more. So, James McGill though throws in $2.
Thank you.
Tell us what your custom-made bridge will look like for the Foley class. I mean, I already showed it a little bit, but there will be some changes. I mean, sure, that should be a live where we just kind of design a bridge layout. That'd be kind of neat, but there'd be a lot to discuss with that. So I think we're going to hold off on that for now. But there's definitely elements we pulled in from a bunch of different bridges.
And also, I already have the Horizon Bridge, so I've already done a design fully finished, except that you can look at in the Convergence teaser, which I've got written in 2 more things. So I have got a full bridge.
There you go.
My own thingamabob, which was a fun. Actually, I've got 2 bridges. Cause I've got my Saya class Scout as well, so I've got 2 original bridges I've designed.
That's a great bridge. I love that bridge.
Thank you. So I've got a Reefer era, tiny one, and a post TNG bigger one.
Yeah.
Bridges are fun.
But my number 7 right now.
Hopefully it's different.
My number 7 is the Enterprise B bridge. 2293. Again, I love this era. These colors, the computer displays, everything about them. Big MSD at the back is fantastic. Like I said, it's one of my favorite features of some of these ships. That being said, I hope it's out of focus a lot of time when you're talking to an enemy because they're like, hold still. Yeah. Okay, that's where that is. Okay, yeah. You know what I mean? But this is a really cool layout. Again, another one we didn't see enough of. I do like that the station at the back behind the captain. That is very, very cool. There's less consoles around the bridge, I think, than the Enterprise A, but again, more advanced tech, different layout, and yeah, moving that stuff behind the captain is quite interesting. So I'd like to get a feel more. But it's all stuff we already know. So I want to know what is going on with the bridge, and I'd like to see the ready room. Like, is that door at the back go to the ready room, or show us more, guys? But yeah, I love the Enterprise B bridge. Not enough time on it, and yeah, that's where we stand. All those little railings at the front are kind of superfluous. I mean, it's a handhold for the stairs, I guess, but that's just, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a funny one where the form needs to follow the function of the script. So the script called for custom seating for a celebrity and lots of other seats for paparazzi. And so it's a lot of chairs.
Yeah.
And I do not believe for a second that red carpet, which is bright orange, would be there in the final version. I think that was specific.
I think it's a red carpet thing, special VIPs, yeah.
And in fact, those orange chairs actually have like a special logo on them, I believe, in the movie,
Yep.
kind of like a, which I think that's really appropriate. Like that's actually, I buy that 100% that they roll out the red carpet station upholstery. That's kind of cute. I like that. No, this is a neat bridge. It's remarkably feeling different to the Excelsior, so I appreciate they kind of, I wouldn't say evolved, but they put a little bit of thought into making it different. And it is on my list, so I'll save a few of my thoughts till then. But you know, I like the scene generations quite a lot with Harriman, etc. And just it feels very it feels a very stocky bridge that certainly should have been in more. And I don't know why. Like seriously though, if you're filming a TV series and you know you're gonna have this bridge, you know, you could have written it in. You could have built it, 6 weeks earlier, put it in, put in All Good Things as another bridge. I guess it'd been hard to do, but should have pushed a bit Excelsior and other ones. But yes,
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, we need to revisit this one for sure at some point.
And this one, hopefully, I'll get built in high poly, and I can put it to life and see how it even feels. Oh boy, a lot of LCARs, a lot of LCARs to build.
I love it.
Oh yes. A junkie like you, yes.
We got 2 new super chats. Metallica
Yes.
fan 1442 puts in £5.
Mm.
Thank you. Great era. Gutted we never got a show set in the time period. Well, not yet. Hopefully they do it right when they do it, if they do it. But yes.
Yeah, I was about to say hopefully when they change showrunner, people that own the Trek license, so they can make better. Oh, he's got 5 more years. Oh. Because I'd rather Kurtzman not deal with anything. Because once you do the era and do it wrong, now you've done it. You know.
And everybody called, well, that's what I grew up with. I saw that, and I'm gonna stop it.
Yeah.
Not a band account, $2. Are the Enterprise F and F refit bridge on the list?
Nope.
Negative.
No, I didn't include any stove bridges because the first thing we'd say is it's too big. Unfortunately, everything in that game is a pinch of salt because it wasn't designed for actual functionality; it was designed for size. And so that would be if you're criticizing it, if you're presenting it as canon, that's the biggest problem. It's absurdly big, and they don't have any practicality when it comes to like filming requirements or scale requirements or people requirements or budget requirements. So they just kind of go crazy. Like some of the bridges are just silly, but they're fun to look at. But I would never ever like have them in Star Trek show. But maybe we can do maybe we can ask Thomas Moroni to say, hey, pick your favorite 10 bridges and we'll rank them. That could be kind of fun.
Come on, there we go. Yay! All right. So what's your number 7 bridge, Daniel?
My number 7 bridge is the Wrath of Khan bridge. So this one, it's obviously good, although if you look at it, it feels quite plain. It's where money and technology didn't quite meet, because it's pretty blank walls with pop-in stations, which obviously just redresses of the last movie. I love how characterful the chairs are. That's big thing. But it's relatively black. Well, it is a bland color scheme, and okay, yes, the uniforms pop. It's a much better bridge than TMP. Great, but it's still visually bland, unless you're doing like a character with the screens behind them, in which case it pops, but that's the screens doing the hard work with the costume in front. That's not the bridge itself. So it is it's a lesser version aesthetic to later versions of the exact same space. So while it's iconic, I like what I'm seeing. The pieces, I like the helm, I like the new consoles, I like the chairs, but everything kind of feels stuck on to a set, almost literally just stuck into the wall and put in the middle. If this was made 10 years later with the same design, it would have looked much nicer. I kind of saw that with later bridges. But like I say, it's just where that line of tech and money didn't quite come together. I like it. And obviously better than the other ones, but it's iconic. It doesn't have the pop that the movie does. Bridge doesn't.
Well, the good thing about this bridge is every console, every display, every readout has a purpose and a use and is
Dear.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Hello.
I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. Next Thursday, I have a Enterprise User's Manual that goes through every station on that bridge and tells you how everything works. And so tune in for that. That'll be a Thursday release for the 19th. But so I'm very familiar with this bridge now because of that. And I think it's great. There's no superfluous stuff. It's all stuff you need. It's all within reach of the operator. There's no like filling screens just for the sake of filling screens, which I think stuff like the Enterprise B and stuff kind of does. Even the Enterprise A in Star Trek 6 has a lot of screens that just show the same information. And is it really all needed? Not really. It fills it up. It looks great. It's a good color palette with the blue and the green on the black. But this one keeps it focused, keeps it real, keeps it grounded in reality, where you don't have anything you don't need. And I think that's kind of neat, actually. So the minimalist aspect of it, I like. Also, the color palette, I think, is fine. I mean, I'll talk about more about that when it comes up on my list. But I do like the way it's laid out. And the fact that they've moved the science station from behind the captain is also a good thing, because in the motion picture, the science station is directly behind the captain between the two turbo lifts. And that was cool, but I kind of like this one a little bit better. But yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, this one definitely went for grounded over sex appeal.
Or flashiness, yeah.
Not even just flashy, but it's, yes, more submarine, but less sci-fi. I mean, this could easily be, vibe-wise, more like just a terrestrial thing. While still being fine and good, just not as poppy as it could be. And maybe just make the handrails red. That might have helped. Just that little bit of pop of colour. Obviously with the uniforms, and that's the things. Uniforms are the thing that makes this thing pop. That combination works well. And I think even if you had the red costumes on the first movies, very bland colour scheme, that would have given it. So beige on beige is awful. Whereas at least red on beigey brown pops.
Yeah. 175 viewers and 129 likes, guys.
I knew people would like it.
Let's get up to 150 likes. We can easily do that. Hit that like button if you haven't. And the super chats are great. You guys are doing a fantastic job. So thank you so much. And
Ryan Chaos says, looks like Helm could be pushed forward a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely, well, yes, hitting the steps definitely could be pushed forward.
It's on the same platform as the captain's chair. Like it's all one piece.
Yeah.
It looks different here in this view than I think there's not a lot of room in front, but
because they never really shoot from behind the railing. It's always
Yeah.
So I definitely would have put them more central. I think he's definitely 2 against the rail.
Yeah. Before we get to number 6, though, James McGill throws in $5.
Boom.
Love the bridge of the USS Defiant
Mm.
in Enterprise show where Archer commands it. What did you guys know about the bridge set? It looks TOS yet upgraded somehow. What? Defiant in the Enterprise show.
Mirror Universe episode, the USS Defiant.
Oh. It wasn't upgraded. It's exactly the same. The railings were round as opposed to being squared off like the Enterprise, but that was just a different Constitution class design. Everything else was practically exactly the same. It was just lit properly and modernly and filmed nicely. It's exactly the same bridge.
So this is what we know. We know it was built over a weekend, literally, which is the fastest turnaround. Because they paid a big construction crew to make it, and Doug walked away on Friday, came back on Monday, it was done. It was almost a full 360. It was very, very full. And there's a few more subtle differences. It's more the those top panel indents, the stepping out from the panels, that's all been rounded more and curved. So more of the shapes have all been rounded, but those are like 20-30% different, but it all kind of comes together to look more sleek. And yes, the railing, which you don't realise, but it does look much better, I think. It pulls the whole thing together.
Yeah.
Oh, and also someone asked, why no low decks predictions?
Predictions for what?
For lower decks. Yes.
We've already covered the trailer, and we haven't got a next time on to talk about. So next Wednesday, I'm sure we'll be doing that. That'll get enough answer? Okay, good. Anyway, let's move on to my number 6.
Yes.
My number 6 is the 2265 Enterprise TOS bridge. You did not guess number 6, did you?
I didn't. I guess number 3.
Okay.
Right. So everyone, the pitchforks are being raised and the lighter is waiting. So I'm going to mute so I have the aircon as well because I'm really hot. I'm going to enjoy this. What do you say? Have fun.
I'm sure I won't talk very long, but classic bridge is amazing. Unfortunately, it's been over goddamn saturated with every fan film in the world. Also, the fact that I've been on the bridge, yes, it's impressive. It's great. It looks a lot better in person with the proper lighting, in my opinion. And like you said, In a Mirror Darkly was beautiful. It looked great.
Hold on.
It always did.
Sorry, briefly, just to Matthew DeFrida says they used the Ticonderoga sets for Into a Mirror Darkly. No, they didn't. That's a misconception. They didn't use any of the actual sets. James Corley gave them their navigator, which is the thing that Sulu that comes out. That's the only piece that made it.
Yeah.
So those sets didn't even properly fully exist at that point. It didn't shoot anything on them. No, not one bit. Although he did give them jelly beans for the for the Discovery version. So no, didn't go film on that bridge.
Yeah. Also, I played this in Bridge Crew, so I've been at the stations, and it is much more impressive in person, even in VR. Like I've been on the actual sets, I've been in VR. It's a great bridge. It looks great. However, the oversaturation of it kind of bugs me a little bit. It is obviously one of my favorite bridges. It did only make number 6 here because there's other reasons for the ones above this one, but it's still one I would like to have in my basement if I ever built one. But that being said, I've seen so many of them now. It's a little much. I need to step away from it for a few years and not look at it, but that's never going to happen. So anyway, the offset turbo lift thing always bugged me. There was one picture of it actually in the center where they had the captain's chair like right in front of it, and they didn't like that for the framing, and I think it would have been a lot better that way, but it kind of bugs me a little bit in the whole debacle, whether it's shifted in the hull or if it's straight, and all the debates around that really piss me off. So, I mean, there's things about it that just kind of bug me. The fact that nothing's labeled as well. You're supposed to memorize your station. You're supposed to know what everything does, but in a crisis, it's not always the most ideal thing. Some labels would have been good.
I mean, do you think every button is labeled on F14?
Yes.
Every small little keyboard button that says ejection, and I don't think every single little button.
I'm back. There, I'm back. And yes, in an F-14 cockpit, I'll show you a picture. Everything is labeled in an F-14 cockpit. Everything, the dials, everything.
Then I'm picturing them more close together than they would be, because I'm picturing them literally like next to each other, because they have to be separated with a sticker then. I guess they're more spread out then.
Or they got little ticks on them at least for like the markings and one or two letters to indicate what they are.
But you wouldn't expect any F-14 pilot to not know where everything is. Like you shouldn't have to look for anything. It should all be touch type.
Exactly.
So,
and this is multiple stations. So if you're a bridge crew operator, you would think that you'd know every station in case somebody gets knocked down in battle and you got to run over to their station. That's a lot to memorize. Yes, your console's great, and I know from playing bridge crew, I know what all the engineering buttons do without looking. Same with helm. Same with tactical. So it's not that hard to memorize, but it's one of the complaints that I hear all the time from people. Oh, nothing's labeled in the jelly bean. I hate the fucking jelly bean reference too. So there's things about it that really piss me off. But yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Although you say that, but you wouldn't expect Uhura to walk over to Scotty Station and start fixing the ship. So I completely disagree that they would all know that. Like maybe they can read it.
Everybody on the bridge got knocked out except for the female because she has different pheromones. Yes, I would expect her to be able to do anything on that bridge. If you're on the bridge, you should know at least the basics. As a captain, you should know all the consoles. You should be able to go to any station and take over.
See, I would say basics like she could, and Uhura, just because she's the communication is very specific, right? I expect her to be able to read Scotty Station but not fix anything. She hasn't got engineering skill. She hasn't got science skill. She couldn't work the machinery to do a scan of any complexity. She couldn't pilot the ship in any clever way. She could press buttons and say impulse, but she couldn't do with any skill. I wouldn't expect her to do that. Same with Spock. Well, he's smart, but Sulu wouldn't expect him to be able to fix a ship, etc. Probably use comms vaguely. So I wouldn't say everyone can use everything.
For impulse, you got click, click, click for speed up and down. That's pretty simple. For science, whatever, you can do a scan. Sure, you can't refine the sine wave.
Yeah, simple stuff.
The proper. There's a lot of stuff that the consoles would do automatically, but yeah, the refinement process. Yes, of course, you couldn't do that. You couldn't change the intermix ratio perhaps as well as Scotty could. You still know how to do it, but you can't get that engineer talent.
Okay, so you're more saying everyone has Medic 101 training, but as in for every station, but yeah, okay. I'll buy that, but so not an emergency. But yes, TOS 6, I'm surprised. I think you're all blown away. There's a reason why, a real military force in the UK said, let's use this bridge. It's absurdly well designed and functional, and it beats the Discovery Bridge to an absolute into its life of functionality.
Yes.
I mean, yes, if you do it now, you'd smooth everything out and add to TV screens, but that would be it. The only changes needed would be comfier chairs. You don't need any other changes. It's probably the most functionally effective bridge in Star Trek, and it was the first and built and designed the oldest to go. To visually update it, you don't need to do much at all. Just add screens, real screens, and make maybe the top bars all holographic, like one note, and then they split into multiple pieces. I mean, it's so simple to upgrade modernly. It's shameful how much they change it, given how spot on it is.
Yeah. Not a bad account though. $2. Does Mirror Commander Cockings have a sexy eye patch? I don't know what Mirror Commander Cockings looks like.
I mean, I've never met the man, luckily. No, wait. Oh, I did do. No, I know. I tell a lie. We did do those shorts once where Mirror Cockings had a British accent, like an actual British accent, if you recall.
Yeah, it was Kelvin.
Kelvin. Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. It was Kelvin. Sorry, Kelvin University actually has a British accent. Yeah.
Moving on. Matt Boardman, $5. As Sam pointed out, it seems like a lot of U.S. fan films were set in the TOS era, so we see so much of it. Outside the U.S., it's more TNG, DS9, and Voyager.
Well,
that's interesting.
When Americans are used to driving 16 hours is no big deal, like relatively no big deal. If there are sets that exist you can just film on with your phone, why wouldn't you go there? Whereas green screen takes hard work, effort, and you can easily get green screen wrong. So, if someone built a TNG set, that would be all the rage. It's just the cheapest, easiest set to make. So, I'm not, I just wish they filmed with better cameras. That's why Avalon's great, because you film with real cameras.
Yeah. And Gary Davis Jr., $5.
Gary again.
when we first met Lieutenant Uhura, she wore a command gold uniform, so she is on the command track at one point. Yeah, and as somebody pointed out in the chat too, like submarine officers are cross-trained, not necessarily on every station, but at least they know one or two, so they can fill in if need be. So I mean, I'm sure that's something that happens in Starfleet as well.
And as you say it, Gary, but Sulu was also in blue the first time we saw him. Does that mean he was in science? That's just a continuity.
Yeah, he was
thing.
a botanist. First time we saw him, he was in the botany department, and where no man has gone before.
And that's the tricky thing, because they weren't characters at that point. They were just throwaway people as part of the, So it's like, yes, but that wasn't, that wasn't part of his deliberate backstory. I mean, you're right, obviously, but, her uniform could have been not clean that day. I don't know.
Well, what's your number 6, Samuel?
Oh, yes, hello. That's what we're doing today, I forgot. My number 6 is the Discovery Enterprise Bridge. So that's kind of funny. So you went for classic, I went for Discovery. Gosh. That's our number 6s. So now you can have your pitchforks for me on this one, guys. Because yes, I went Discovery, and this is a great fan design, a fan version of it, similar to what they did for the Ex Scientifica. Well done, the fan that made it. So this I guess under Midway, because there are obviously better designs, but for what it is, it's a cool design. If this had been the USS Excalibur and like a Connie refit in the era, or a JJ Bridge, spot on. As with a lot of these shows, where they place the thing they do, it hurts. This is a terrible Connie bridge because it breaks all. I mean, there's a corridor, for God's sake. There isn't even space in this bridge dome for that, so they don't even care about their own show, and this has no function whatsoever.
And a window.
And a window. But it wasn't even designed just to be that initial bridge shape, like it's clearly built, and even they tried hard, but a few people had a few bad ideas, like making the floors very shiny. But through the few bad ideas, as is a lot of the Discovery content, it's a really solid bridge. It's a really solid redesign. Just having it be the Enterprise when it is ruins it. But it's a cool bridge with some cool things, and very few changes make it very, very good. But it's fun. It's mostly respectful. It has some good ideas. It has some good things. It looks great in the show. And it's way more visually interesting than the Wrath of Khan one. But again, this is 40 years of improved technology, or 30 years of improved technology. And it shows you how little they cared in small ways. When Georgia comes on the bridge, says orange and the ratings are red, they didn't bother changing the script. It's like, could you not even, like, you know what I mean? They didn't even bother. It's like everyone can see the line reads wrong now, but they didn't bother changing it. So the carpenters and designers put effort in, but the other people just didn't quite somewhat drop the ball. So close, Stuart. So close.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the real color it's got a funny name for that red, so I think that's a reference to that. But anyway, regardless, this was going to be my honorable mention. This graphic makes this thing look fantastic.
Yep.
And yeah, for a JJ 2009 film, perfect.
Oh.
Awesome. Good job. But get rid of the corridor. You summed it up pretty well. There's a lot of really great design elements that draw from the original, but then there's some real mess ups that need to be fixed. Especially that shiny floor, the strobe lights at eye level. Just put a carpet down. It's pretty simple. Hopefully they fix that for Strange New Worlds. But this graphic makes it look way better than it does on screen for me. I really love this graphic. I think it's great. But yeah, it's more of a reimagined JJ Kelvin bridge for me. If this was the Kelvin bridge, if this was the Discovery Prize was the 2009 Enterprise, I'd been happy, man. I would have been happy. But
yeah, it's amazing how just 3 bad decisions. It's so close. It's actually it's way more respectful than the JJ Prize one, even though it's all black.
Yeah.
It's way cleverer. It's just, and one of those 3 things was that's Kurtzman's idea, and you absolutely can bet its shininess was another one of his ideas, or Kiva Goldsman's. So close. So hopefully Strange New Worlds, but I doubt it. Because you've seen the transporter room, it has a corridor around that as well. So I think we might get corridors around every single set. Transporter room, corridor, mess hall, corridor around the room, corridor
around Kirk's quarters,
with a viewing window in the bedroom. Yeah, full 360 panorama. A corridor around the corridor. It's a highway. And the escape pods, a corridor around each escape pod, which isn't the worst idea, but not a smart idea either. So there you go. Discovery got high.
Anyway.
I would say that
Anyway.
quite high for Discovery design, though, guys. Number 6. Well done, them.
Yeah.
So close.
Yes. But moving on to number 5, we're halfway now, guys. My number 5 is the 2254 Enterprise, the Cage. This is the original Pike Bridge. As you know, I do prefer this one to the TOS bridge just because of the color palette. I like the grays and the blacks, but I also love the different display monitors, different sizes on the upper panels. I like the 2 small ones and the bigger ones. I think that's a lot more varied visually, and I just think the color palette, the more muted color palette, works so much better. A lot of people hate this design. I don't see why. I know why they bumped up the color for TOS because of the new color TVs and all that. And yeah, it looks okay. It looks good in person as well. I just really prefer this, honestly. Not a big fan of the chairs. I prefer the chairs in TOS a bit better. But other than that, this bridge it looks great on screen. I want to see this filmed with modern standards. That would be awesome. But the one thing I don't like about this one, which is the goosenecks, the gooseneck viewers. I get what they were going with. If they change those to something holographic, cool. That might work. You know, a little arm that comes up and little screen that, you know. But I think the gooseneck viewers is the only thing that really dates this one. But other than that, I love it. So that's number 5, a little bit higher than TOS for me.
See, I've heard these reasons before. Obviously, we've talked about this multiple times, and I get it. Although I think it does look more bland because of everything you said, as in color-wise. Like it's a better connection to Star Trek 2 and the NX-01. You know, if that's the lineage, it's actually really great. It feels more militaristic. It feels more functional. But it feels more like a work environment, less like a ship that you'd want to serve on. Because it's not trying to be inviting. It's not trying to be homely. It's trying to be, okay, we're going to work.
It's the command center of a ship.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they portray.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's not necessarily the vibe that you want in a show that we end up feeling like home. That said, obviously, it's so close to being the original that it's the original. There's so little difference, as it were. And I don't mind the goosenecks, honestly. It adds a bit more depth. Wouldn't take much to like I said, update them a little bit.
Modernize them, yeah.
Yeah, just a thing that is movable. Or just, their microphones that's talking to the engineering. That could be the new way you say, Scotty! And they just talk right into the microphone. Which would be dumb, but okay. Yeah. Cool beans, Stuart, cool beans.
Now, one thing I got to ask before you move on to your number 5, though. You said about the color palette wasn't really your favorite. What about the displays, the way that the upper displays are done? Do you like them better than TOS?
Well, I prefer the 2-and-2 arrangement of TOS because I think that is cleaner. But obviously the information usefulness of these are better. But that's just, they didn't put the money into making moving displays.
Yeah, so they did. They had projectionists behind each one of these in the cage, which was super expensive, and they couldn't do that for TOS. That's why we get the paper or the projections that we get.
So it's half a dozen of one and 6 of the other. I just want TVs at the top that can move. That's really. So I mean, anyway, my number 5 then. My middle ground is the Insurrection and Nemesis version of the Enterprise E-Bridge. I actually don't like the big dark blue pop. Something about that blue doesn't quite sit as well with me. I like this more warmer colour, brighter version of the bridge, and no holographic view screen, an actual view screen, which I think is the right one. I've even though the view screen doesn't necessarily look anyway. But this one with the colours. But the E-Bridge in general, though, I've just gone for obviously one version of the E-Bridge. So the E-Bridge, yes, it does get 5 on my list because I like a lot about it, and I have filmed in it, in essence, with the temporal anomaly, so I've got a personal connection with it. It's too busy, though. It's got so many more consoles. I mean, like you said many times this live, more technology, more automation, and it's got the most people at displays out of any movie, give or take. And
it's because movie budget, extras. Ooh.
Absolutely. But I don't see these people doing anything most of the time. There are 4 new consoles. Well, 3 because Worf's there. They're not doing anything. And in fact,
see, if it was during the Dominion War and they were part of a fleet, I love that there's more people there doing fleet operations and talking to other ships.
Which arguably it
That's
was.
awesome.
You could, if you want to go super out of what it should have been doing.
Well, yeah, the Sovereign was more of a battleship compared to the D. So yeah, sure.
So I like that. That makes sense. Never in the show, or movie. But I like the steps. I like the 2 levels. I like the lighting in the floor. I think that's really great. I do think the front is way too much free space. It looks silly, but the back looks so full and dense and rich. So I like is that you've lost a bit, but you've gained the other bit. I like the chairs. I like the pillars. In fact, the cutouts are quite deep for the turbolift, so you can have this great walk out and here's the bridge. And like I said, I've been around this bridge a lot more. And in Bridge Commander, you were in the E for a long time in the game, so I feel like I know this bridge a lot more. So it's kind of, it's that movie bridge. It feels its budget, it feels its scope, it feels its epicness. It's just a bit too much, but that fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it it takes those ideas of having the stations at the side like the D had, but now it makes sense with a step. Like this just does that better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, my number 5.
Okay. Nice. People are pointing out the manual steering column. Yes, not in front of any seat, and not within reach of the helm officer. Maybe there are multiple manual steering columns. You don't know. I mean, yeah.
See, I have no problem in concept with having that as one of the many tertiary ways of functioning the ship. It's like, why wouldn't you have a manual?
Just don't use an off-the-shelf gaming joystick.
That's the thing.
Modify it, make it look like Star Trek.
Well,
it's literally one that I have.
Well, it's like, don't use the Argo with piping as it's like, give the damn thing doors and give it an actual structure, you idiots. Stupid mistake was stupid mistake. I mean, but the idea of having a physical thing is like, okay, I mean, Sulu had a thing that came out that looked in. Like, that's also silly, Ooh, look! It's like, no, just look at the screen. You got screens. Look at the screen, Still silly.
Yeah.
And Worf's got a wooden console. It's wooden. Space wood. That wastes a lot of space. Yeah, but there's a few...
That's aesthetics, though. It's
That's
like the old Woody station wagon.
And you don't think it's aesthetic?
Station wagon.
You don't think it's aesthetic that Riker wants to grip a big, hard, thick... Your number 4?
My number 4 is 2285 Enterprise refit.
Okay.
There we go. I'm back. Yeah, this is the Wrath of Khan. We spent a lot of time here. Love this bridge. Like I said, I just did the video that's coming out next Thursday, talking about what kind of every station does and every control. And hopefully you guys enjoy that. But anyway, this one is very simple. Like I said, there's nothing there that doesn't need to be there. You got access panels besides each of the displays on the side there, like little things that you can pull out for circuitry and stuff. And it's what it needs to be, and that's it. And everything has a purpose. Everything has a use. Everything is labeled properly, and it's one of the things that the TOS bridge doesn't do for me. It's got everything labeled. And somebody mentioned earlier, of course, it's in English. Not really. There are scientific symbols and stuff on them, so that it's pretty much universal in a lot of them. But at least they're all labeled. Even the numbers translate to something. So there's a lot going on here. But it's the Wrath of Khan bridge, man. It's awesome. And I love the captain's seat with the fold down lock bars for the legs. Not really a seatbelt, but close enough. No one else has them. But well, actually, they all do. They all have them. Sorry, they all have them on this bridge.
And I'd picture that as having force fields as well. Like that, if I was invented, that'd be a force field generator.
Yeah. Sorry, when I said nobody else has them, they do, but the captain's the only one that has controls on them, which it's the captain's chair. Of course it has controls on it. So, but yeah, you see them actually lock them in a few times, and in the motion picture, I believe, as well. So, yeah, I mean, that solves the seatbelt problem that everybody bitches about. So, but yeah, love the Wrath of Khan bridge. I love the addition of the 2 turbolifts at the back. Well, that was for the motion picture, but that's very nice. So
what do you think about the color palette? But I guess you like the cage one more, so I guess that just or would you concede it doesn't? It's not exciting. It's not visually there. Or where'd you go on that? Do you think?
I think it's perfect for what it is. It's a military ship, even though it's not military, but it is. So, I mean, you don't want to be distracted by anything. It's a nice neutral color. It's not bright. It's not in your face. It's not distracting. You're focusing on your console. It's fine. So, yeah, I think it's fine, the color palette. Never bothered me. I never really noticed it, to be honest. It's just...
Well, because it
is what it is.
It doesn't make you notice it.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand out on a reason.
But I think that's why the consoles and stuff speak to me. Maybe when I was younger, I just focused on those, and I love L-cars, as you know. So maybe that's why I like them so much.
All right.
Just saying.
Nice. I've already talked about, obviously. And I do quite like the fact the consoles are circular as well. We lose that because they're literally just monitors with cutouts on them to hide the edges. But it creates a really nice vibe. So I wish that was in more of them. That circle. Yeah. It's a waste of space because you're losing the edges. But I like aesthetically. It helps it to.
Well, their purpose. They show one thing.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure.
BJ Turon, we missed the super chat of $2. Love the cage bridge. Great zoom in during the episode. I have a real problem with that zoom in for multiple reasons, but okay, it's an interesting idea. But even when they remastered it, Mr. CG Man walks off the turbo lift is like clearly CG, or walk onto the turbo lift. I mean,
well, that was made a long time ago now, wasn't it? So yeah. But guys, we do another 40 likes, which is possible, at least $24 more, which should be doable as we get nearing our closer ones. As we'll start to ask some viewer questions when we get to our top 3. So I'll do my number 4 then. Are you ready, Stuart? I think he's ready.
Sorry, it froze there.
My number 4 is...
What do we say? Oh.
My number 4 is the Enterprise B bridge.
Nice.
So this one I like because it has a real substance to it. It does feel cluttered, like the E bridge, but it's more zoned. So you understand the visible walking area. So the there's nothing in the aisle, but the plane's full up. But the aisle feels neat. Whereas the E, it's all kind of like, well, it's all crammed a bit. I do really like the back console. I think that speaks to me a lot. It feels like there's two very, very capable people watching at all times with a very big amount of control, and no idea what those guys actually do necessarily. Or it doesn't even say on the thing. I think that's just the console from the A bridge slapped on the back with a different bottom bit, because I recognise building that bridge for another design, which is a good way of using another console. But that I think is great. MSD, yes, you're right, brilliant, really helps. I've always loved those Excelsior variants of the helm and whatever consoles. I like the way the interior. This is the last time we really have that interior structure of the beams. Although if you look, there's the beams, but they've still got residual steps from an older bridge, which the handrails now make redundant, which stayed. Yeah, which is great because it's like, what? It's like they couldn't even take that out. But no, it's good. It's a nice evolution of Excelsior. It's probably the movie as well, and it's also lit dark in the movie. It has a more of a gravitas, and even the way that Demora Sulu plays the console all has a different feel, a different tactile. Everyone's really focused. Excelsior, those scenes, it's part of the thing, but we're always focused on Sulu. Whereas in this, it's got a lot of very hero moments. We really have to focus on the set. So I think it elevates the feel. I do like those two doors at the back. I don't know what they do, don't know where they go. But it has that bigger feel that just by closing that bit off and having consoles at the back brings it in. This gives it a little bit of extra space, makes it feel a bit more hero. So I like it. Speaks to me. Yeah?
Yeah, I love the hero vibe that you're saying there. Definitely the movie lighting definitely helps. And just the movie aesthetic in general. I've already kind of said everything I had to say about this one.
Yeah, but I saved a few of my little notes.
yeah, it's a great bridge. So, Matt Boardman though throws in $5. I always wanted to design a proper Enterprise C bridge that was more in line with A and B bridge lineage. Yes, Matt, that would be awesome. Please do so.
And we know you could do it.
Cool. You know that I love the Ambassador class.
Speaking of though, Matt's ambassador class, which we actually talked about on our Trek short lives, he was like, if you want to use it, I've already written it in 3 films now as small segments. So you're going to get to see Matt Boardman's ambassador class hero model, fantastic model. In fact, I've written it as the ship that Nick Cook, which is Captain Daniel Hunt from Star Trek Intrepid, he served on ambassador class before he made commander, before he made captain. So that's his, going back one era for that legendary fan film captain. And in fact, I probably a spoiler, but I had Ensign Sam Harriman of Temporal Anomaly serve on an ambassador, same ship as well. So we'll see that in 2 fan films coming up, I believe, like properly in one and sort of cameoing in another. So I'm excited to kind of, give it some hero love, the ambassador class, and hopefully Stuart will be like, ooh, I like it. And hopefully I'll be like, yes. Well, I'm not thrilled about Nick's name for it, because his ship, I let him pick the name. I'm not thrilled by the name I have to give it, even though it's a string. But he has a reason for it. I'm not happy with it, but I'm doing it. Because he looked at me in my studio space as we were filming, like, are you going to let that slide? I'm like, I don't want to, but I'll let you. Damn it. So, sorry. Sorry, bit of a...
Well, guys, 170 likes with 202 people here, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to at least 180. That should be doable. And I want to see another $20 in super chats. Plus, keep in mind that we have the last super chat slot, which is now Matt Boardman's domain. So if you guys want to snipe that, by all means, feel free, because we're getting into our top 3 each.
Yes.
So,
and when we get to silver, I want to open up a poll as to what they think we did as number 1. But we'll do number 3 first, then we'll get into that. So what is your Olympic 3rd place bronze medalist for Enterprise bridges in the grand pantheon of Star Trek? Called into the podium is
2293 Enterprise A, Star Trek 6. Star Trek 6 bridge is excellent. Lots of black, and again, lots of screens, lots of blue, lots of green, lots of great looking display monitors. However, I think a lot of them are superfluous. They don't need to be there. They have the same information as every other goddamn station. Kind of bugs me a little bit. But that being said, the captain's chair is nice. And I do like the chairs that everybody else has too, which we see multiple times in different ships over the years. And we even see Sulu's chair at the last shot, where Sulu should be at helm, is just shredded and dead. So, it is what it is. I really like the bridge. The clocks all around would have been hell to film with, to keep them in sync with what's going on, and they did a pretty good job. But I kind of like the fact that there's a clock wherever you look. It's important. And again, Star Trek 6 with Nicholas Meyer went more military again, and that shows in the bridge layout with the clocks everywhere. So I thought that was interesting as well, but it's a different feel for a Starfleet ship. So there we go. Star Trek 6 is my number 3. Ozzy Medeiros, $2. Skeleton Hands.
Yes, and we expect a new catchphrase from you from Low Deck Season 2, so we're waiting to hear what you find. No, this one certainly is the, like you said, Nicholas Meyer came back, so it has the military feel again, but with the full movie budget at its fingertips to create something that really is where it should be. And
that being said, they had not a good a budget because Star Trek V bombed.
No, but I just mean that they knew, because when you see a script, a lot of the show takes place on this bridge, all of the end, all the beginning, and a good chunk of the middle, and they lost the last bridge from water damage, so they had to build a new bridge, they had most of the movie on the bridge, so they had a full movie budget worth of budget to spend on it, and therefore it feels it. And obviously tech got better, and they could put in new monitors that did more, etc. Like, it has all of the feel that a movie bridge should have. Thank goodness they didn't just redress the last one, because it wouldn't have had that same exact pop that it did. Yeah, this one is this one's a good one, but only bronze.
There are reasons.
There are reasons.
All right, what's your bronze though? What's your number 3?
Let's find out. What did I say? My bronze is TOS Connie Classic. I said TOS Connie Classic.
I heard you right before it froze. So
This should definitely get on the podium, Stuart. It's podium worthy. As I said in my bit, the design is the best designed out of all of them, the most functional. The fact that Captain can see any display, any officer.
It's all at eye level.
And if you extend the logic, the top screens can shift. You can look up and see specialist information. It's got a full view screen. It's got things next to it that can change displays as well. His own controls. Okay, yes, there are a few shitty little buttons. Give him a full make that screen. He's got full control. Everything's 3 steps away. Especially if you know the floor isn't going to creak like we've been on the bridge. If you know it's made of solid stuff, then you'll be confident to move around it quicker. A second away, pretty much. Everyone can talk at normal volume and not have to yell at Discovery Bridge, or at least they should have to yell. It's visually striking. It's to have red where it is. It works so well. It pops. The uniforms pop well with it. You would think having the black for the consoles is an odd choice because it bleeds the color, the light away. By having the screens, then the blinkies, they then pop all the more. So it's super well, cleverly designed. And having all those things shift in the background mean that when you're out of focus, it pops even better. And with, nowhere near 25% different, with 5% different, you can make it be modern. Shockingly good. Okay, yes, if there's some things I'm going to bitch about, the chairs could be modernized. Okay, the steps could look better. They're a bit wonky and shit. Okay, the railing should be curved. That's a small thing. Cam's chair, more curved. The Discovery one's probably a better chair. And obviously, like I said, the controls. But yeah, functionally, it's a stupidly well-designed thing. Like, I guess, I think I've sat in every chair console. I believe I have sat in every chair, I think. I do find, from personal experience, that the drop-off on Sulu and Chekhov Station, you can kind of see the chap here. His feet are right dangling. It doesn't feel secure. Like, it's weird the drop-off is instant. Really, the inner island should be like half a foot broader so that they're more secure on it. Because I have literally been sat on that bridge and oops, my foot went off. Because I let go a little bit too much. It seems an odd choice to have it be that small and that close. Those are my things, very small. That's from personal experience. But this is why. Functionally the best design bridge, functionally, but not aesthetically the best bridge. And that's where aesthetics beats and cool beats function.
Mm-hmm. And I can say too, having played Starfleet Bridge Crew,
which I've not played, so I'm
when you're in
kind
the
of
captain's
jealous.
chair, or when you're in the tactical, the one upper screen right across from you has all the ship status display as your shields, has the enemy's shields, like how their hull percentage, stuff like that. So that's cool. And when you're sitting in the captain's chair as well, the one screen up at the other side on the left-hand side shows your speed. And then your engineering console above that has like the main view screen and different functionality, which is really cool that you'd never see in the show. So yeah, the upper screens are great for that, which I didn't mention when we were talking about it, but you did. So
Boom.
James McGill puts in $2.
Thank you.
Only bridge I hate is the one that kills Captain Kirk.
Oh.
Chef Cook puts in $5. I would have loved to see.
Oh.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
Nope.
Froze.
Stuart, what was your joke or comment?
I said I would have loved to see Captain Kirk on the Enterprise D bridge just
I
once.
know.
Even for a minute. Just transport him there, have him look around, and then transport him to the planet or something.
That whole goddamn movie, missed opportunities.
Yes.
Imagine
Cook.
if like Picard had to go into Nexus and go back to the B, and then Kirk commands the D while Picard commands the B. Both in their inappropriate uniforms. And Guinan's on both, and Guinan's the one that gets them back together because she can send telepathic signals to herself.
That's how they're like communicating with each other. Yeah.
Yep.
Chief Cook puts in $5.
Thank you.
The captain's chair should be in center of the bridge, and EXO and second chair behind him in both D and E Enterprise. okay. I think the captain's chair placement is good pretty much all the time.
I don't even think, as we found in TNG, having Riker be the second in command, or having and Voyager, the second in command role is an ambiguous role. If their role is just to be second in command, then they have not got a specific role on the bridge, except giving orders. But the captain can do it anyway, and so Chakotay didn't do much, and Riker did a lot of exposition, as you said. He's the audience, whereas when Spock was second in command, he was also a functional officer. So personally, I would think it makes more sense to have a just bridge crew be a second in command who has a station. That would be my choice. I'm just saying.
Sergeant Montgomery has upgraded their membership
Goodness.
to captain from commander, so it's
4. It's amazing.
It's 4 captains during this. There's a lot of promotions happening because of the bridge. We're talking about the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is so helpful.
Oh.
My goodness. Amazing.
Well, let's get into my silver.
But
Number 2.
Now is the time for them to guess. I want them to guess. Stuart, the chat now, we've got 205 people, which is amazing. In the chat right now, I want you all to guess Stuart's number 1 and number 2, and my number 1 and number 2. In the chat right now, I'll give you a minute or two. If you've been following, you'll know what we've had, but often people don't see the entire thing, but that's okay. Right now, in the chat, what is Stuart's number 1 and number 2? Bronze, silver and gold, and my number 1 number 2. Guess right now, and if you get it right, what do they win, Stuart?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Praise from us.
No, look, I'm going to be straight with them. All the people that guess the number 1 bridge of either me or Stuart or both, they'll get beamed up onto the Enterprise D and have a day with Captain Jean-Luc Picard. The only problem is at the end of that, their mind's going to get wiped and beamed back to the same moment they left. So you will have an amazing trip of your life. You just won't remember it. So get it right. A really great day is on the line. I know you said not to spoil it, Stuart, but I feel like they had to know what was at stake. So think about it. Your number 1 and 2, and my number 1 number 2.
While you're doing that, guys, 191 likes. Let's get to 200. 9 more likes. 204 if you're here. That's easily doable. And honestly, another $20 would be awesome. BJ Turan just threw in $2. First officer does the legwork. Captain the thinking. Pretty much. Yeah, that's... Okay, List of Jericho says Voyager, I bet. Well, that definitely won't be it because this is the Enterprise bridges, so you're wrong.
And the doctor says yours will be the Defiant and Voyager. No one's remembering the name of this live.
It says top 10 Enterprise bridges. So.
And we've only used Enterprise bridges.
And Avenue Pad says Rathacon Bridge is Stewart's number 2. I don't know who that Stewart is because that's spelt wrong. And my number 1 is the TOS bridge. Wrong because these have already been on the list.
But in the chat right now, Stuart's number 1 and my number 1 and number 2. Guys, we're not doing Voyager.
Yeah. And Matthew DeFritas says number 1 TNG D or Enterprise D for me, and number 2 is Enterprise A. Well, a lot of Enterprise A bridges. I've already had a few, or at least one on my list. So, I mean, you're really shotgunning this. Voyager and 1701E. JJ's, no. Star Trek 5 bridge. For what? What ranking? Captain number 1, Star Trek 4.
Which is a nice bridge.
Yeah, that is Star Trek 4. Yeah. Number 1, Star Trek 4, and Star Trek 2 Star Trek Voyager for number 2. Again, it's not an Enterprise bridge, so no.
And you've seen that picture of the Star Trek 4 bridge where they it's slightly panned out, and you can see they've painted only up to the line they filmed. You've seen that picture, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's like the same 2 bridge, then fancy bridge for that 1 frame, and then nope. Yeah. Hey, nope.
Anyway, there's some good guesses there, I guess, but
I've had. Dear me.
Stu is the E. Don't call me Stu, first of all, and I'm not really a fan of the Sovereign.
That's okay, Gerald. We were just asking to be fun.
All right. Well, let's just get into it.
Your
Number two,
number
my
two.
silver, is the 2287 Enterprise A Star Trek V bridge. I really love the Star Trek V bridge. I mean, Star Trek V gets a lot of hate, but the bridge is one of the things I really love about that movie. I like the color palette. It's a little bit more welcoming than the Enterprise or the Star Trek 6 bridge. It's got basically the same layout, same kind of consoles, but a lot more warm color palette. And I like it. I like the big view screen. I hate that it's a rear projection view screen. Like they tried that effect and it just looked like shit. It wasn't bright enough, but imagine it bright, it would have been great. A lot of I think the consoles are also toned down a bit from Star Trek 6. There seems to be more for Star Trek 6 than a Star Trek 5, which I like. And you also got the round ones as well. So it's got a variety of displays. And I don't know, it just always spoke to me. I love the Star Trek 5 bridge. So it is my silver. It's not number one, but I don't know why. I just really like this bridge. We don't get to see a lot of it, really. But it's one of the because it's one of the bright spots in that movie that maybe it stands out more. I don't know. I just think it's good. It's good. I like it.
I'm currently skimming through the timeline of the movie, so I can actually sort of, because I mean the picture does not do it justice.
No.
I mean it looks bland in the picture, so I'm actually just briefly skimming.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll vamp for a second.
Oh, yeah. So I've kind of already vamped. I don't know. No, it's just, again, it's got those really cool chairs as well, which is awesome. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
It's tricky because I think. So what this one represents bringing the monitors into they're all now moving monitors, so that it felt more alive in that respect. But you might be resonating towards the bland color scheme again, the mauve, the greys, the pales, which links to the Cage one, links to the Star Trek 2 one. So this is a more advanced Star Trek 2 bridge, because that's vibe-wise it is, whereas the 6 is darker, redder, the blue is much more poppy. Here they're more muted because I don't know why they're more muted, but they are for some reason. So maybe that's resonated with you more. And all the lighting is very white. It's very, I mean, it looks at it, there's lighting on all the different levels, but it's all just plain white. So it's very simple and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have a personality as much, but feels more at home, work about, oh yeah, I'm at work. What are you doing? I was on the bridge. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feels cheaper having rewatching the scenes, because they were given money, but money was spent all over the place, so it doesn't quite have that same. But had screens, had lots of touch screens. Yeah. But it's interesting that you go for the more muted paint scheme each time. Almost all of your tops are all,
Well, it falls with the way I like the TOS bridge lit darker.
Yeah.
I like the monitors to pop.
This one's bright though.
Washed out in color. It is, but it's also not then the bright reds on the railings or whatever. I don't know. I like mood lighting essentially. I guess. Jonathan Davies, though, £2. That's the animated series bridge. Wasn't added to our choices, but it might have been on there somewhere. And Sergeant Montgomery. Oh, sorry.
No.
Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Captain has a nice. Oh, I got cut off. Damn it. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Captain has a nice ring to it. Go climb a rock bridge. But
just don't let the bridge hit you on the way out. My number 2. Yes. What did I say? Let's find out. The Star Trek 6 bridge. For me, the pinnacle of original series bridge design. All of the consoles feel advanced, sleek, techno. Everything moves. Everything's varying colours. With those blues, greens, and others. There's multiple ship displays. All the chairs are comfy. The railing is good. Doesn't stand out because the red pops. The doors are now red, which really worked, I thought, and links to TOS as well. That was a good choice. There's also internal lighting in the set, which really helps. Obviously, it looks incredible in the movie. The fact that it doesn't show it here, but it's grated, some grating on the floor, more metal feel. It just has that real movie feel. Everything's alive, everything's moving. Having those clocks gives some motion. Having everything is just vibrant here. Even though arguably it's a very simple color scheme, the bright blue pops with the red the red pops with the uniforms pops with the sound design pops with the leveling pops with the view screen pops. It's a very, everything has a real life to it that other bridges don't quite have. And like I say, even the materials felt more meaty because they had to rebuild it, and I guess they just chose a different, slightly different, whatever. Nothing really wrong with it. I could call out. Feels incredible in the film, and the epitome of a TOS bridge. Less functional though, because the captain can't see anything. Like Kirk could not see those front monitors. They're too far away. At least, well, he can see the top things, but he couldn't read them effectively anyway. So it's less functional in that respect. But
yeah, that's one of the things too with all of those multiple monitors on the Star Trek 6 bridge. Like you look, as a captain, you're looking over at a station, you got 15 goddamn monitors, which is the information you want. Like the TOS is like, boom, there you go. So.
Well, and this bridge is definitely a teamwork bridge. You call out information, whereas obviously the individual people, they have all the information they need. It's super useful, and they relay. And while yes, I kind of agree with you, the back wall, in fact, there's no chairs there or consoles, gives it a less functional feel because they're standing consoles, which are already sort of redundant. If that had been an MSD at the back, that middle one, that would have been great. And then maybe one to either side be like, this is the tactical viewer, although as you'd said, then view screen creeping would be a thing. Although how often you speak to enemies on view screen? Like seconds of a battle. So really, grand scheme is not as important. I just mute them,
Yeah.
But it's certainly redundant, but having that big red popping leather kicks so much butt, sells it for me. Like I said, the epitome of TOS bridge.
Well, there you go. So we're down to gold now, guys. And now I have 197 likes. We need 3 more likes to get to 200. That'd be a great way to end out. And also, we got some super chats, but honestly, $25 would be perfect number, if possible. Right now, Sergeant Montgomery has the last super chat slot with a $5 one. So if you can snipe him with $1, let's get that last super chat slot, guys. Start sniping away while we're talking, and we'll see who wins the sniper battle.
And personally, I'd love to see another $50 come in.
I know you would.
Because we could really do with it. And so if 10 of you put in your number one, we'd get there. Boom, done. I'm just saying. Just saying.
He's just saying. All right, well, we're going into gold now, so let's talk about this. Where are we? Number 1. All right, my gold place is, you're going to hate me for this, but that's okay. 2286 Enterprise A, Star Trek 4. We see it on screen for literally a minute. It is the...
Okay.
I'll wait till your reaction's done.
Oh, okay.
I've always loved this bridge. It always stood out to me because it was a new Enterprise. I was excited to see it. It was beautiful, white painted. I didn't like the way the floor sticky thing wasn't quite flat enough, but that's okay. But I had the trans warp, things that Michael Kuda designed for that behind Spock. Really popped color wise, but it's only the Star Trek 2 bridge repainted white, only a section of it, and we never saw more than that.
And I'll find the shot as well because it's easy to summarize.
I was always intrigued to see what the rest of it looked like because I didn't know at the time it was a Star Trek 2 bridge. I wanted to see more of it, so it kind of grabbed me. And I love the color scheme. It was so bright, looked so good. The blue chair looks cool. I mean, honestly. But knowing that it's the Star Trek 2 bridge doesn't really deter me from it at all. I think there might have been other changes that they're not showing here in my mind. But, for some reason, Star Trek 4, because we only see it for a second and it's a new Enterprise, it's the Enterprise A, my mind just locked onto this one and thought, God damn, that's got to be a cool bridge. And it looks really, really nice from the seconds we see of it. But, yeah. Then it turns into the Star Trek 5 bridge, which ironically is my number 2. So I don't know how that worked out. I didn't even think about that, to be honest, but
Well, here,
So, yeah,
here's that shot for the movie, Stuart. So now you can refer to it directly. Because that, I can summarize the moment that child used popcorn
I mean,
popped out of his seat because something else grew 10 sizes.
well, look at it. I mean, it just Uhura Station looks great. The black against the white looks amazing. The gray looked good in Star Trek 2 as well, but those new displays behind Spock with the Enterprise, like I said, those always speak to me, seeing the schematics. Those being there was awesome. It had so much potential. That being said, the light on the bottom is really bright and distracting now that I'm looking at it. Tone that down a bit, maybe make it blue. That'd be great. But I love the upper lights. And I just wish we would have saw more of this bridge.
And boy, that floor is clearly stuck on.
Yeah, it's just you can go buy the stuff right now at the hardware store, and it's not stuck on well, especially with the lighting being right there. If there wasn't lighting that low, you wouldn't notice that at all. That's what I mean. Turn that blue lighting and dial it back brightness wise. I really like this bridge. I'm sorry. I know people are going to complain. People are going to bitch that this is my number one, but here we are.
It's funny how 27 seconds of footage beats the TOS bridge.
Yeah. I've been oversaturated with the goddamn TOS bridge. That's one of my reasons it was where it was on my list, unfortunately.
Yeah, so this bridge looks nice. I mean, I can't stop seeing the floor now because it's like the most embarrassing thing ever. But yeah, no, it's... Ironically, while it looks pretty, it has the sterileness of the TMP bridge again. But because it's now a clean white rather than a grey, and because the LCARs look logical as opposed to stuff on the walls, it has a certain advanced crispness to it that the TMP one just doesn't have. And I'm kind of obviously, it was built with any money left over, but they obviously changed the monitors a little bit, and it's very focused. I'm trying to imagine if it continues this way on the other side of the bridge. There's a lot less consoles, a lot less stations than a bridge would normally have compared to other movies, because they just didn't want to change stuff around too much. So it has less going on, but everything kind of pops more. And yeah, there's weird the bottom lighting and a ring of top lights as well. And to have the inner supports be chrome is a weird choice. So they both blend in and pop out at the same time. It's very strange.
Yeah. I don't know. And just there's like some purple on some of the monitors behind. Yeah. Like there's a variation of color. I don't know. This is just one that's always captivated me, and I just want to see more of it. But anyway, who is it here that said, where is it here? The floor is a work hazard, Sergeant Montgomery says. I think that floor is a work hazard. At least that's textured with little like circles. If you go to the Disco Prize floor, that's a goddamn work. That's a hazard right there.
It's a mirror.
Bright lights shining off of it. It's probably slippery as hell too. So.
Well, yeah, but anti-slip shoes. I mean,
well, future.
But okay, wow. There you go. I can say no more. My number one, and I was sure to be on number one like 3 ago, and I'm just like depressed as all hell. My number one is the Enterprise D bridge, because obviously it's Enterprise D bridge, for me anyway. Goodness,
wasn't even on my list.
Well,
it's like the phaser. I disappointed you. Just a thing. I didn't mean to disappoint you.
No, I'm just shocked. I was like, oh cool, we're gonna have the same number one. I was like 4, and I was like, oh cool, it's gonna, oh great, we're gonna have the same number one. Yeah, well, okay. I get to have my spiel then. Yeah, no, Enterprise D bridge. It's the most homely of all of them by an absolute mile. It feels functional. It feels warm. It feels inviting. It feels office space. It feels big yet not too big. It feels as if each station has a role. It's pretty. It looks nice on the screen. It looks good as a movie. It looks good as TV. The fact that it can be variated in so many ways shows it's flexible. The so many bits of genius involved. Having the station's data and where's the other bit of rotate gives a nice flow. Having the wooden horseshoe is a stupid yet wonderful idea that's just like a penny drop moment of like, let's try this. Wow, it works incredible. Having the depth looking up at Worf and the colour of the L-cars is a great shot. The actual ceiling is incredible. The shots you get from that, having the walking do to the different turbolifts, etc., work really well. The view screens are great size, placement and scope. The the color palette's brilliant. It makes the uniforms pop as well. This is both a workspace, a future workspace, and a home. You know, and I didn't even watch TNG live, so this is just it's the most.
We spend a lot of time on this bridge though,
Yeah,
compared to all the other ones. So.
Hundreds of hours. I mean, more than any bridge, literally more than any bridge in any show. This is the bridge you'd want to work on. You know, maybe not if you want to stand, but there are chairs. You know, those backstages have chairs. Only one guy has to stand, and he's the guy that has the two hearts and the spinal enhancements. Clean, simple, effective workspace. You know, superb.
As you know, every time anybody asks me what ship I want to command, I always say the Galaxy class. I do like the bridge. It does feel nice and warm and welcoming, and for a long mission, absolutely. That's why I went with what I went with. I don't know. I'm just a different era, I guess. I don't hate the Enterprise D bridge by any means. I think it's fantastic, but for some reason, it just didn't make my list. I just had other ones to choose from. I'm sorry.
Briefly, in Hunters, in Hunters, if you can stop yawning, I think Commander Coggins takes it. Just remember, guys, it's now midnight for me. And a lot of you who have kids and jobs go to sleep before midnight to go to your job the next day. So I actively have energy drink to stay awake to do a live with you Americans, which fucks up my sleeping pattern. So I have to stay awake until late. I have to wake up late. I actively, hurt my system to do these, which is fine because I have American clients. It's not the biggest deal. But, how many of you be yawning at midnight while talking live, being entertaining? Just to point that out, guys. I'm allowed to yawn in these lives, thanks very much. And I've been awake since 9 a.m, so I've been up for 16 hours and working the entire day. So, I know you didn't mean like that, I'm just, I'm allowed to yawn.
Yeah, we do lives all the time, so you kind of just have to get used to us being us. I'm also super tired tonight, today, because I did not get a lot of sleep last night, and I've been just, right before this live, I wanted to take a nap. I still do. My eyes are... Anyway.
Well, you've zoned in beautifully, Emma. You couldn't tell. You've done great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but I can see why this isn't your number one. This is what I kind of expected. I don't hate the bridge at all. Just with the...
Well, you gave you a 9. You gave a redress of it the 9, so...
Well, that's the other thing. The different variations you get in this. You get yesterday's Enterprise, which I was going to include on my list, but then decided not to, for the Generations one almost. Plus all the few different versions we get in Parallels, like Slight and then Future Imperfect. You always get like the little change. Anyway, there we go. You get the little changes to this one. It's very versatile. We see it in multiple different forms. Yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah, and it was for me, these are an obvious number 1, number 2, because they are the epitome of their respective art design. This one, because it obviously had so much money poured into it. I mean, these curved shapes were expensive. At the time, this is the most expensive set probably in a lot of things, probably more than they'd like, but I'm sure Gene said, oh no, if this is a multi-year show, we are going to put the money in here. Because I'm sure that wharf station was so expensive to build, because it's real wood, real curves, like it has that real futuristic feel, etc.
Yeah.
Devro, no love for the Gen Hay Bridge. Devro, it's the Gen Hay Bridge. It's not the Enterprise Bridge. It's the Gen Hay Bridge. It's also not a bridge, it's a green screen on one half.
And it's the Discovery Bridge.
It's the Discovery shoulder,
yeah. So Jonathan Davies puts in his number 1 at 2 pounds as Star Trek 4 Enterprise Bridge.
There you go.
Mark puts in $5 and says my number 1 is Enterprise B.
Oh.
Luke throws in $20 Canadian. Thank you so much. You cannot see coffee stains on that carpet. It's very important. Yes. And Sturm Von Alk puts in $2. The floor is crap on the shooting set. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they shot that low. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, remember back in those days for the Star Trek 4 bridge, it was like 13 seconds in the cinemas with no home movie as a possibility and no HD. I mean, I do not even remotely I don't even remotely think that they had HD even in mind. Like, you couldn't see an SD, I'm sure, on a VHS. I'm sure you couldn't see the floor clear enough. All blended together.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. That being said, coffee stains on that floor wouldn't even be a thing. You just wipe them up. It's fine.
Or just get the Tribble vacuum from Discovery and they'll just take it right up.
Yes.
The dedicated vacuum, space vacuums.
Well, there you go, guys. Those are our top 10 bridges. We have 217 likes. I want to get to 100 or 220. Let's 3 more likes.
Yes.
And honestly, another $9 is all we need. Right now, Stern Von Elk has the last super chat slot. But a 2 5s, a 10 would be a fantastic number for this kind of foray back into lives after a little bit of a hiatus. Plus, we're going to be seeing a lot more of us now that New Trek starts tomorrow. Just saying. So it'd be a good kickoff to some new lives and New Trek.
Because I thought this would be a lovely little palate cleanser. Because in theory, you're live tomorrow night doing a Lower Decks first reaction.
Yep.
So I thought that, I suggested this. I thought the nice way to end the in between was to talk about the Enterprises. And obviously 200 people turned up, and so yeah.
And Shannon Nash throws in $20.
Oh.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you guys for what you do. My number 1 is the Undiscovered Country Bridge. Number 2 would be the Enterprise B. So there you go. Everybody has their own favorites, and like I say, my favorites change sometimes day to day. But this is the one that when we talk about favorite bridges, boom, it popped into my head instantly. So,
and I think a lot of this is definitely going to be the nostalgia factor of whatever it meant to you at the time. This resonated with you in the cinema.
Yeah.
It didn't resonate with you on VHS. It didn't resonate with you in your dad's basement. What I mean? This was the moment that it got you. And that's absolutely fine. Everyone has that. It's like I think we all fell in love with TOS when Intramirror came out. Like the way it popped up was so incredible. There were a few of those moments for sure.
And like you said, with the cinema and Star Trek 4 specifically, waiting to see what the new Enterprise was, finding out it was the refit,
the same ship,
and going, wow, what's going to be different? Seeing the bridge for those couple seconds and going, oh, please keep panning out. I want to see more. Plus, they also incorporated TOS bridge sounds during that scene, and I think that's one of the things that made it feel like home instantly. It's just a whole storm of things that happened in the cinema on the big screen at an impressionable age. Sorry, that's the one that is my favorite bridge as a result.
So, as I certainly appreciate the Enterprise D and Connie bridge, especially physically standing on them, having been on the Enterprise D bridge and feeling the scale and being like, this feels both smaller, because I was able to walk from Turbolift down to Data's station like 5 steps. But it's the same for the Connie, like it's just distributed. They're the same scale, just one's a slight more oval. It's just redistributed. But and I'm very thankful that even though I was like 10, I still have memories of myself in first person on that bridge. I wish I was like 5 years older so I could be more in HD remembering. But obviously, you walk on the D bridge, you don't forget that. Like you don't lose those memories, that experience. It's so unique in your life, you keep that. But
I haven't done that yet.
No, but for fuck's sake, rebuild the bridge somewhere. For fucking sake, do it.
Well, they're gonna be one in Ticonderoga eventually.
I know, but that's like build it.
AC Costello, $2. The bridge of the 19th century sailing ship from Generations. We don't see the bridge though, so there you go.
Castle says, I actually like this surprise bridge top 10. Well, it was my number 6, so there you go. Did not make your top 10 though.
The Enterprise bridge
from Discovery.
Which one didn't make my top 10?
The Discovery Enterprise bridge.
No, it was going to be an honorable mention for me. Like I said, it's more of a reboot. Should have been the JJ 2009 bridge, honestly. Then I would have been super happy. Wouldn't have been bitter and mad all these years. But anyway, we hit our super chat goals. We hit our likes goals. So you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us for this live. Tomorrow will be new Lower Decks. We're not going to have a live tomorrow about Lower Decks, except for me. I'll have one in the evening at 10.
Which you guys look forward to.
Which is a Captain's First Reaction to the episode, and I'm excited. It's new season, new episode. And then Friday, we'll be doing our breakdown live analysis video. And lots more to come during the week.
When I'll be seeing you as soon as you wake up, Stuart. Coffee in one hand, webcam in the other, We start.
The other.
Yes. And I will be doing my watching and prepping tomorrow, my time, so you guys will get to enjoy it in the next sort of 12 hours or so. Everyone, please enjoy. And then hopefully, then Stu gets to wake up on Friday and with a folder full of things we're going to talk about and pictures. It's like, hey! Yeah. Here's what I'm doing. And then you get to spend, well, half an hour, I guess, because it's a shorter episode doing the screen caps for the main episode after my individual ones, my AI enhance, etc. And then we'll talk to each other for hours upon hours on Friday. Below Deck's bit easier because half the show means half as long a review, unless it's good.
Yeah. Red Walrus trademark NC52 puts in $5 Canadian. TOS bridge for me. Nobody. A B C or D.
Or D. Briefly, while we have a good sample size, briefly. Oh, hold on, let's come back. Yeah, briefly, just before we go. Quickly in the chat, guys, will be a minute or two more. Would you like to see a spoiler-free review of the first episode of Lower Decks? They never do well for us view-wise, but would you find that useful to see a spoiler-free review of the first episode of Lower Decks? Kind of give you a sense of, are we in for a treat this season? Yes or no? It'll be 2 or 3 minutes, as we did last time. We normally do 1 or 2 to start the season, just to kind of give everyone a sense of where our head is at the start. Yes or no? Would you like to see a spoiler-free review of Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 1 on Friday? Yes or no in the chat right now. It'll be 2 more minutes. We've tried them, but if you guys really want them, we can do 1 or 2. Let us know right now. And then we'll say goodnight. You guys had a lot of fun here. Thanks, guys, everyone, for having fun. I'm going to go back to a 3D set I was doing. And so show someone some teaser images.
We're getting a lot of yeses and a couple no's.
But
I think yes is the thing for this part.
you have the power, fully up to you guys. Stuart doesn't care either way.
If you choose to do with the opposite one of what you did, we just ignored you. So.
Oh, Rebel, do it. No, traumatized. Yes, Lower Decks will be fun. Enjoy it.
And Mark Lawrence throws in $5. Yes, spoiler-free review of episode 1 would be great. So there you go.
The president says it, Stuart.
He is one of the Federation presidents on the channel, so
then we've got to do it.
Yeah. Hey, been chosen. It's been decreed.
Has been decreed.
All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us on our respective bridges. He is Commander Cockings on the Enterprise D bridge.
He's kind of Foley on the Star Trek 4 45-second bridge.
So until next time,
just
guys,
don't turn, because you're on Star Trek 2 bridge. Oh, that's a good little joke.
Oh, as you're making the joke, it freezes. Whatever. Yeah, don't keep turning, because then you see all the scorch marks from Star Trek 2.
Yes. You'll see Kirk's stained jacket at the corner. We're like, why is there a trick sleeve thing?
Why is there a blood stained jacket? Oh, why is it moving? Anyway.